Back to my RP-1 playthrough on hard. So we're building a science craft. It's going to be a ComSat. I committed to performing a lunar flyby. I am not going to try to do a lunar impactor because I don't really trust that I can make that work. I think I'm going to need a bigger rocket to ensure that I have a guided translunar injection burn. That requires stupid low eccentricity. This requires a reasonable level of eccentricity. Just quickly run the calculator and see what the eccentricity of that is. Yeah, so it's below 0.013. Given how hard it was to be below 0.02, I am doubtful. Like, we probably need to wait until till we can do that guided. Like, if I could get PVG to cooperate for suborbital flights, then I could do this, because what I'd do is I'd set the initial apogee to be 800, set my attach altitude to be like 150, and then calculate what, given the delta V that I would have, what semi-major axis I would need, and a bunch of stuff. But I can't really figure out how to make PVG cooperate with suborbital ascents, and I don't think Lamont is around for me to poke him. So I'm not gonna do that right now. All right, so we're not doing this one anymore. That will burn up our jet. I did have a brainwave, however. And my brainwave is that this plane, we could just remove the cockpit and put a different put the X-15 cockpit on, and then we could pretty much immediately do the 80-kilometer flight. But I might need to design an actual new airplane, space plane, I guess, because I'm not sure we'll have quite enough delta V. I think the X-15 cockpit is heavier. So, at any rate, we get to where's ComSat? 80 units, 35-degree inclination. All right. Sure. Okay. So we recovered the plane. 51 days from now, I guess I should get my lunar orbiter ready to not lunar orbiter, my lunar flyby probe ready to go. COM-16. All right, UHF. At 400. Oops. Okay, something's super weird here. Oh, I know what's wrong. Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Okay. COM-16 versus DSN. Okay. Okay, given that this is a flyby probe, it's probably fine to be 1 bit per second. Yeah, look at the power curve on that thing. That's bonkers. Okay, let's look at the tank. 1570 EC. That's not a lot of EC. We'll go through that right quick. Let's look at experiments. So we'll do the ones that use next to no electric charge. Excuse me. The durations of these things are too long. That one's fine. That's only 2 hours. That's 30 days. We can't do that. That's 91 days. That's 20 minutes. How heavy is it? It's 5 kilograms. So this will take 8,000 seconds to transmit. Right, so this is it will take 2.22 hours to transmit 2 hours of data. These transmit next to instantaneously. This will also have a data surplus, and it's biome based. But there's no way that we're going to get to space low, so it's fine. All right, let's look at how bad this is. Oh, there's DSN. Interesting that it's not much better. Yeah, it's not much better than the basics, the basic launch site stuff. All right. Now let's turn on the experiments. Set this to transmit 100% of the time. And just how fast do we run out of electricity? 10 hours. That's nowhere near as bad as I feared. It's bad, but it's nowhere near as bad as I feared. All right, now how much EC does that give me? More. All right, let's try just scaling it up a little bit. How much does the tooling cost for this? Yeah, dirt cheap. Because we're not changing the fact that it's a science core, which is a little cheaty. All right, now how long are we claiming? 1 day. But we no longer have enough delta V to get to the moon, so that's bad. All right, that's a little under as well. That's about right.
Hey there.
Hello.
How goes it?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I was more productive today. Yesterday was kind of a wash.
Ah, sorry to hear that.
But
okay. Glad today was better. So, let's see. Maybe I can't bring the TV camera. All right, definitely going to have to sim this.
Experiments should take volume in the avionics cores.
Sorry?
I said the experiments should take volume in the avionics core.
Yeah, that would be good if they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'm doing this as a US playthrough, so I might as well use US names. I never quite maybe I never quite looked up or saw any of the logic between why certain probes got called Pioneer and certain probes got called Mariner. Because it seemed like past the first few initial Pioneers, they were all interplanetary. So,
yeah, I don't know. It wasn't.
yeah.
Was it the same like group working on the program? Maybe.
So Mariner was at least the first couple of Mariners were JPL. I don't know who worked on Pioneer. That may be that there was like an Ames or Goddard program or something. Well, this is interesting. Apparently, I don't quite have enough delta V. What if I delete the retros? That makes no difference. Yeah, that's like 20 meters per second. That is not going to make or break us.
Wiki just says they borrowed the name. Like they're definitely two separate programs run by two separate groups. The latter one was by NASA. The earlier one was by the Air Force. And I don't know why NASA borrowed the name. Probably something political.
So Pioneer 0 was Air Force. When NASA was formed, the Pioneer program was transferred to NASA, and NASA launched Pioneer 1 and 2, and that is why Pioneer 0 was 0 and not like an actual number. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I don't know why they didn't then reuse Pioneer for Mariner or something. Or like why they then proceeded to launch Pioneers 3 and above. Well, this is sad. Sad, sad, sad.
Well, Mariner program was probably separately named because JPL was running it, or it was run out of JPL, and NIMBY.
I mean, they were already running Ranger, which also unclear why Ranger didn't preserve the Pioneer name, because Ranger was doing pretty similar stuff to Pioneers 3 and 4 and the other Lunar Pioneers. What the... I guess I have to... Yeah, I guess I have to like underfuel the solid and carry fewer experiments is what I have to do. No TV camera. Bye-bye TV camera. Okay. We don't need 3185. We can shave a little more off. But not that much. That's super weird. Looks like we're bouncing. We're bouncing around. I don't understand why there's not fine control over volume. I guess we're probably rounding or something. That's weird. Let's see. Yeah, I'll keep that for the delta V. So let's...
Probably something like that, Squirrel Patrol. And if the naming for these programs was as stupid as the rationale stated for naming Pioneer, then they're probably silly. The wiki says that Pioneer was named Pioneer because the Air Force wanted to take over being the pioneer of space from the Army.
That sounds very like 1958.
Yeah.
Or plausibly like 2021.
Pretty much.
All right, let's look at our EC usage again. I'll leave the active transmission time as it was. Oh, did I get a contract? Oh, yeah. I never remember to get rid of those messages. 2 days and 23 hours. And that's transmitting, of which we will not be transmitting that much. So that seems fine to me. Think we have enough battery now for our experiment load. So that's tight. That's very tight. I'm not sure that that will actually work. Only one way to find out, which is increase the utilization of this tank. Not that much. All right, that feels a bit more viable. Kind of want to see if this will get into orbit. Okay, let's see if we can do this with PVG. Stupidly low. We'll use our current inclination, that's fine. 5.5. Do I want to be 0.5? I guess I want to be 0.5. Auto stage, stop at stage is still 4, that's correct. 0.5 there. Uh-oh. Don't see how this is going to work. Maybe it'll work. Maybe I'll get lucky. 50 meters per second sounds about right. And yeah, I have my doubts about 0.5, but like, I don't know. I also could probably mess around, like, given that I have, oh, I don't have, I took the ullage off, so I can't actually, I can't do a coast. But that's fine. The actual Thor Able and Thor Delta didn't do coast.
Yeah, Electron is tiny.
Yep. Electron, the vanguard of 2021. Hopefully it has, except for the last failure, it's had a much better track record than Vanguard, so. I mean, I have a soft spot for Vanguard, but I know I'm kind of a loner in that regard.
My internet is not having fun in case dropping in and out.
Yeah, no, you did sound a little hoarse, and I'm glad to hear that's your internet and not you.
No, I'm healthy. I haven't actually been sick in a couple of years since,
Yeah.
been indoor.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing the difference that makes.
Yep.
All Oh, I see what's wrong. Let's try that. Okay, this is going to be a hotter ascent, but I think a more correct ascent. Oh, that's cool. We engaged with not much of a jerk down. So the pitch rate was almost correct. So far, so good on Delta V. Oh, getting a little toasty. Oh boy. Oh boy. Whew. The gauge is fully red. That was a narrow escape.
Yeah, that's weird. That looks buggy.
I think I was probably 5 degrees from poof range or something.
Mm.
Okay, so we actually have way more Delta V for this than I thought. I mean, I'd forgotten just what a high thrust weight ratio and low time to orbit actually means. It's amazing how good it is. Also the fact that MechJeb's, so what's going on here is MechJeb predicted worst case residuals. We're obviously not going to hit the worst case, which means this number is actually going up now.
Mhm.
Because I made a change to real fuels where, based on how far into the burn you are, it corrects what it's predicting. So like we can actually watch. Oh no, we can't watch that going down because I still worst case predict there. I just the number I actually passed to MechJeb is more correct.
Residuals, should people be over fueling slightly on
No.
like HT? What? I didn't
Wait.
finish my question. So on the tri-fuel rockets, stuff like like the A4 or whatever,
Yep.
should they be adding a little bit of extra HTP so that the HTP is not the one that causes the engine to shut down?
No. There is
Okay.
there is no circumstance in which you will shut down early from too little turbopump fuel. Um,
Oh,
the
okay.
reason for that is that when I vary, so either the engine has a fixed residual, in which
Mhm.
case they'll all terminate at the same time, or within like 100 milliseconds or something. In which case, like you're not really materially
Mhm.
affecting anything. Uh, or if it terminates early due to variation in mixture ratio, uh, the only way that can go is worse. Um, so basically, the the variation will either affect every propellant equally, or it will affect the fuel in the oxidizer, making you run out of one of those earlier than the peroxide or whatever is powering your turbopump. So
Okay.
no, you don't
So
need to overfuel on that.
so there's no variation in like the HTP burn rate.
There is variation in the HTP burn rate due to variation in flow rate, but variation in flow rate is uniform across all propellants.
Okay.
Yeah, the only stuff that varies based on propellant is mixture ratio. And if mixture ratio is not to spec, like you can only go down in burn time with mixture ratio.
Sure. Yeah, I was just wondering if it was
Yep.
smart about like the HTP not being the one that is used up faster than the other two for some reason because it varied all of them.
No, it varies all of them. Yeah, so specific impulse will effectively varies your thrust and holds your burn time constant. Flow rate varies all propellants equally, and mixture ratio variation will only ever vary down.
Sure, but if it happened to vary down the HTP, let's say,
No,
uh,
mixture ratio only touches fuel and oxidizer. It doesn't touch things that are marked
okay,
ignore for ISP.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and in fact, it will also only like it will literally only work on engines that use two non-ignore for ISP propellants. Like it will not work on tripropellant engines because I did not want to do that math.
Okay,
And that is actually the major the major reason why I cared that the Aerobee got corrected to mixing its aniline and furfuryl alcohol to be
mhm,
one resource, because otherwise mixture ratio variation wasn't being applied.
okay.
Okay, so that's an awful lot of extra delta V. We probably could get away with doing a bit more with this science mission. So I can put a little more electric charge in. Um, so I'm just going to go up to the height of the moon because we don't have maneuver nodes yet, so I can't really test the moon. I mostly wanted to see if we had Uh, why is our heading so... That's weird. Oh, I guess because we maintained our current inclination. That's right. That's what's going on. I want to see how long our electric charge lasts. So I need to extend this antenna. And let's spin up. With my weird setup of dual roll jets and occasional orientations. Okay. Okay. So we're going to lose connection. Yeah. Because we don't have an upgraded DSN. But I mostly care about electric charge usage. We're going to get all the altitude and speed records. Okay, how are we doing on electricity? We still have a ton of electricity even though we're, I think, running all the experiments? Yes. Yep. Okay, so that's cool. So this is ready to be built. I have reasonable faith that everything will work. Okay. So, man, it's so tempting to try to chuck some extra electricity and experiments on this thing. But I think for the first one of these, I just want to complete the mission. We'll have a chance to fly plenty more of these. Is anything untooled? The avionics is super cheap, so sure, why not? It made no real... Oh, it actually made a considerable difference in build time, so that's cool. All right. All right. So we fly a science mission, and then we fly, well, science slash ComSat. and then we will do our lunar shot. Hopefully we don't have failures. That's all I'm going to say. And then after that lunar shot, we can start building our X-15 alike. Like, it's super tempting to just bolt the cockpit on here and see if we have the ability to reach 80 kilometers, but I don't think that airframe has it in it. Like, we can get a little over 75, but I don't think we can really go much. And even if we hit 80, we won't be able to hit 85. So, all right, let's.
And no obvious easy improvements like changing the tank type.
I mean, no. So the tank is already SEP 2, I think. Let's have a look. See. I believe the tank is already SEP 2. We might have access to a new XLR-11 upgrade, and that'll help some, but it won't help as much as it otherwise would. This is the jet version anyway. But yeah, this is. Oh, it's just AL. It's not SEP AL2. But like honestly, I don't think that'll make a huge difference with our mass fraction. Like the weight of the tank versus the weight of everything else on the airplane. I'm not convinced that it will make that much of a difference. Let's look at the engine. Oh, we have 2 more upgrades. Oh, right, because this is the. Wait, what? Oh, that's the one that was used on the X-24. Interesting. Oh, but they don't actually have better specific impulse. They just have higher thrust. Which I guess, like, that doesn't quite make sense. Because even if they increased the flow rate, that would have increased chamber pressure and increased specific impulse a little bit. So that's confusing to me.
The chamber pressure increases didn't affect specific impulse.
They have only a slight effect on it in vacuum, but they have a honkin' huge effect on it at sea level.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so say you have like a. You'd probably only get from going from some like low chamber pressure fed engine to some super high end stage combustion chamber pressure up the wazoo engine. You probably only get maybe 5% tops improvement in vacuum, like dwarfed by the. No,
Why is
actually,
that the
probably
case?
like 2 or
I thought
3.
it was like just the exhaust temperature and nozzle parameters.
Sorry, that what is just that?
Your
The
ISP, your ISP.
Oh, so your specific impulse is related to. I mean, it literally is the exhaust velocity, and the exhaust velocity is, yeah, it's due to the lightness of the stuff, like the molecular weight of the things you're throwing out the back,
Sure, of course.
and the
Molecular weight and temperature.
and temperature, and temperature is related to pressure. Like you're running
Yeah,
a.
but this is assuming you didn't increase your temperature when you increased your chamber pressure, which I mean, Usually they don't, like, because they don't want to melt their chamber.
Yeah, but like under, yeah, I once again we are sad at the absence of Ferrum because he could actually tell you the math behind that. But I can tell you the empirics, and the empirics are that if you have a high chamber pressure, even in vacuum, it will help you a little bit. It doesn't help you that much. And like you can, so if you haven't messed around with like RPA, you should mess around with RPA because you learn a bunch just by trying stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why engines with a higher chamber pressure are usually running at a higher temperature too, because you're keeping your fuel more tightly. I mean, it's just, it's like you're keeping the fire tighter. So, but that's the only reason I would see the ISP growing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to read up on some of the stuff I've forgotten, some of the stuff I've never known to actually answer that question properly. Um, but yeah, my hunch would be that uh, there is a very mild effect in vacuum, but like I think so. Here's what may be going on a little bit. Uh, it may be that there's something going on with the way the de Laval nozzle is, the converging diverging nozzle is choking flow, such that at higher pressure, maybe the like post exit temperature is different. I don't like there's probably like a Glenn Research Center article on that because I think that's one of the things that they model in nozzle sim or whatever. Uh, but yeah, I don't know offhand. I'm gonna go retroactively rename this to Scout 1. And the first test satellites were just test satellites that didn't stay up very long because they ran out of electricity super fast. So I didn't bother naming them. Okay. And I do have my new computer, so if I actually have time to set it up properly this weekend, hopefully I will have the horsepower to switch over to Principia. Uh, Not sure I would necessarily want to play Principia in the middle of a hard career, but I did say hard mode, so it does feel slightly disingenuous to not be playing with Principia. All right, let's warp and launch. Roll it out. And I want to launch it at, oh, Denise is already retired. Oh yeah, because it's 1958. Pretty soon it'll be 1959, which means I need to start hiring new astronauts. Uh, yeah. So remember when we were going to fly the X-15? We don't actually have anyone to fly it. That's not great. I forgot it. I was worried before and I was like, oh, it'll be a little while. Um, and yeah, now I am going to have to spend some money and get myself a pilot. Because, yeah. And this worked before because I think I was running a bit ahead of this in terms of X-planes on my last career or something, maybe. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how they didn't retire. So no, Mr. Bond, it's a Ryzen 5900X because that seems to be the, like, I don't really want to drop bank on a 5950. But like 5900X seems like the best bet for that. And seems to, like, I looked up single threaded as well as multi-threaded benchmarks, and it seems to be pretty good there. So, and that's the box that I just upgraded to at work, and it basically cut my compile times by 60 to 70%. Like I'm in this weird boat of I have literally the same hardware at home and at work. Like had it up until about a few weeks ago when I got an upgrade at work, and soon I will. Now I have this upgrade at home as well. So it does make it fairly simple to like not have to remember multiple sets of hardware. This round it's actually going to be the same exact case, because in my lazy old age I had it built, and I had it built by the guy who built some machines for us. Okay, so I need to do this at dawn, which is not for about 12 hours, I guess. It's July, so dawn is going to be earlier than it otherwise would be. So I'm going to save now.
By the way, according to that de Laval exhaust velocity formula, in a vacuum, the pressure shouldn't matter.
Huh. Okay.
Because the term that matters puts the absolute pressure at the exhaust nozzle exit at 0, because you're in a vacuum. It's 0 over the pressure, so it just becomes nothing, or at least that piece of it.
Yeah, I wonder if there's some level of stuff going on in terms of, because like I mean, the advantage at sea level is you can run a higher expansion ratio. Um,
Well, even at sea level, it makes sense because you're pushing against the gases
right.
that are trying to force itself in. So having more gas just means your effective exhaust velocity is higher.
Yeah. Okay. It's dawn. We're in the northern hemisphere. It's July. That means the sun will be it's still slightly below 90 degrees, right? I think so. All right. So
Sorry about that. If it keeps happening or gets bothersome, I'll just.
sorry, nothing happened. So
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought my disconnections would be coming through as noises on your end.
Nope, not at all. I'm in streamer mode, so it doesn't actually play that.
Fair enough.
Which also, incidentally, is why I basically jump out of my socks every time you show up, because I get no warning, and you're like, "Hey there," and I'm like, "Yikes!"
Sorry about that.
It's totally fine. It's just I realized that's what was going on after the first few times, so now I'm basically trained for it. But if I ever make a slight yipes noise, you will know the reason why.
All right, that's good to know, because I thought you were getting the chime noise when I was
Nope.
connecting.
No. No, streamer mode mutes all Discord sounds, other than like the actual voice chatting. Okay, so sadly we have to go back to classic Ascent for this one. And that's totally wrong, so let me... At least I was smart enough to save a screenshot from The Sims last night. So I hopefully know what I'm supposed to use. 507250. Okay. Okay, because basically we're going for the lowest possible initial apogee. Yeah, I think I want to go south rather than north. I'm not sure it actually... Oh, okay, I guess I do want to go north. Because that's due east. The sun is clearly not due east. The sun is north of east. So, okay, I was wrong. It is northern half, so 37 degrees. Stop at stage is correct. Hot stage delay is correct. We might as well go. That is a reference to wonderful old movie called The Mouse on the Moon, which was the sequel to The Mouse That Roared, the Duchy of Grand Fenwick books. Hilarious. And it's utter fantasy, but it's pretty funny. Okay, let's go. Okay. Let's see what launch azimuth we end up with. Whoa, 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 what's going on here? Okay, now it's settled down. Sweet, we're launching almost directly into the sun. That is going to make the solar panel life easier. It's also a little bit past dawn, it looks like, which is annoying to me, but it'll be fine. I think we'll still get enough electricity out of the panels. Okay. Hey Glass, thank you for the follow. And Badger Masher, yeah, I don't quite understand what the problem with roll control on this thing is, but I've been getting it. I assume it's that better controller is basically tuned for RCS and doesn't deal with vernier gimbaling super well.
You don't expect to have any emergency roll issues. You can just lower the gimbal range on your verniers.
I think that'll help some, but like the issue is that the issue is MechJeb twitching on roll rather than.
Yeah, no, I
I
get
guess
it.
that will help. That'll dampen some for sure.
No, I've just had issues like that both on
Yeah.
pitch and roll and stuff like that, and it's if you it's non-linear how much it damps it.
Yes. Yes, because it's cos. I mean, it's like dot product, which is equivalent to cosine.
No, I mean it's non-linear in the amount of effect that of the damping it has because of the PID controller.
Oh, also
Which
that.
improves
Yeah.
how it works. Yeah.
Okay, let me just double check that we're meeting the requirements. Inclination is good. We'll be fine, and we have the requirement. Okay, cool. All right, now we should have started running our TV camera. Yes. And we're getting we're getting 9 watts. 10 watts and 10 watts. Oh, and that's up to 10 watts as well. Sweet. All right. So we're in great shape.
Nice Badger Masher.
Hmm. Yeah, 30 watts is not a lot of wattage. I mean, it's a lot of wattage in human terms. But yeah. Yeah, so the lowered inclination made a huge difference. It's our apogee over. So we'll still have comms from Bermuda for that. That's fine. Will we? Hopefully. Disengage. Activate that. Okay. So it's only 22 seconds of burn on that solid, so we're gonna wait until we're pretty close to apogee. But yeah, that's decent for the sun. It could have been better. We could have lifted off right before dawn. All right, so we're passing Bermuda. Okay, now we need to spin up. Okay, and I always do this so I can turn it off without lowering the spin up. Away we go. Okay, now let's warp on up. And when we have just about 0 degrees pitch, we will fire the second solid and boost our perigee. Okay, pitch coming down, 14 degrees. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. There. That's pretty good. Let's go now. Okay. We have a good orbit. Let's get paid. Okay, we got paid. Looks like I was wrong about my electricity usage. Which is not good. Let's look. So 25 watts. Okay, looks like once again I am failing to include comms idle when I'm looking at comms transmit. So let's just ignore the avionics and okay, 0.755 per minute, which means oh, wait. Yeah, why was it okay. That's super confusing. Why was it claiming 11 days? Yeah, now it's properly listing that as perpetual. Okay.
Was it transmitting before and then stopped transmitting?
No, it shows comms XMIT. Maybe it had literally just finished visible imaging or something. I don't know. Anyway, that was a weird bug or misunderstanding or something. But we're all good now. Both of these are perpetual. So now we'll let the science roll in. So other than advanced bio, which we need to wait for a heat shield, we're good in terms of orbital science, I think. Very glad I didn't have a failure. I did not want it to impact the Lunar program. We've got a bunch of money now. How expensive is the X-15 cockpit? Let's find out. $30K. So I need $80K to pay for an astronaut and the X-15 cockpit. So I guess I can't actually invest any KCT points right now. Also, we need to start building a bigger pad, and that's an expense. And there will also be tooling. 150K. All right, so yeah. Definitely going to have to grind a bunch of ComSat contracts.
Yeah, welcome to the fun of hard.
Yep. Can I do ammonia? Probably not. No, because no. The requirements are too tight. This is literally the same thing we just flew. Literally the same thing we just flew. Just with 82 units instead of 80 units. So sure, why not? I'm gonna hold off because we can't do it yet because we're building the Lunar launch vehicle, but that's going to be what we're going to grind for a bit. But I think what I want to do is I want to hire an astronaut.
You can start them training at least.
Yep, that's the idea, because the proficiency training is going to take a little while. All right, Sophia. You are... Oh, you're a scientist. Dagnabbit. I need a pilot. Guess we'll take Glenn Wells. Or... Yeah, we don't have great pilot options. So we'll take Glenn Wells. That's fine. And... $1965, that's fine. Okay. And once I get enough cash, I want to get another astronaut training so we can have a prime and backup crew. Okay. Okay, let's go to the moon. So we're not making the launch date of Luna E1, but I have reasonable confidence that we'll beat Luna 1 and Luna 2. Alright, so the tracking station is upgraded. Mission control is upgraded. Let's go. Also, is there some, like, does KSP itself start backing up saves? Because I keep seeing backup saves, and I don't know where they're coming from.
I don't think KSP does, but
I mean, Kerbal Alarm Clock does, but I haven't been using any Kerbal Alarm Clock alarms. Maybe KCT does? No? unless it's just always on. Okay. It's gonna be probably a night launch. Okay. It remembered my PVG settings. Good. We're gonna go down to 0.64, given that it almost popped the fairing, and given that we had excess delta V. Maybe we could go to 150 by 150 as well. We'll see how much excess delta V we get in practice. I'll try a halfway there. The rest of this all looks correct to me. Stop at stage 4, that's correct. All right. Let us hope that our Pioneer 1 launched on a Thor-Able is better than historic Pioneer 1 on a Thor-Able. Night launch. Uh-oh. The old debris wasn't cleaned up. That's not good. The heck? Oh, MechJeb did the dumb thing. I really need to send a pull request or something so it doesn't stage the clamps if you have an engine failure. Well, it doesn't stage the clamps if you have an engine failure. All right, so we're gonna roll it back because the engine did fail, so I'm not gonna undo that. It's just that also that debris didn't get cleaned up, and it should have gotten cleaned up. And roll it out again. Carbon 78, that is way too little information for me to even begin to try to answer your question. Like, first of all, what set of mods are you using? Second of all, like, I don't know what settings you're using. And third of all, that seems like a question to ask in the MechJeb thread or on the MechJeb repository. Unless you're, the only use case that I'm aware of is if you're using Principia as well as the Realism Overhaul suite of mods, then that is expected sometimes because of the throttle up delay on engines. But based on the way you asked that, I don't think that's what's going on. All right. Let's try this again. Like if we were going to have a Thor failure, it's good to have one that we could just roll back and fix the engine and roll it out again. Launch into plane of target. So we lost 4 days fixing that, give or take. Okay, that looks better. Yeah, I don't know how you get Planet Shine to do the right ambient lighting for midnight. Okay, that's definitely looking a little better. The ambient lighting. See what it does during the day.
Sure what a rocket should look like if you're viewing it at nighttime from the side in space. Or at least it's going up.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's been enough Falcon 9 launches at night that... But you wouldn't be seeing it from the side, you're seeing it from below.
Yep, and you're getting just everything washed out by the rocket exhaust.
Yep, that too. Guess that's probably Orlando? Not sure. Might be too near the Cape for it to actually be Orlando. Okay, coming up on burnout. And stage 2 ignition.
Yeah, I don't think that could be Orlando. Maybe
Yeah.
the one at the back on the horizon, but...
Yeah, that seems plausible.
Well, are you seeing all of Florida there? It's a little hard to make out. But I mean, Orlando should be kind of in the middle of the panhandle, a little bit closer to Kennedy than the backside, but not that close.
I think you mean in the
And also in the
middle of the peninsula, not the panhandle?
peninsula, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also in the 1950s, Orlando would have been tiny, so.
Yeah. I mean, all this stuff is wrong for the 50s.
Yeah.
Hey, Admiral Fisher. Yeah, so I just unlocked X-15 parts, but I'm probably not going to build the X-15 tonight because I'm busy trying to go into the moon. Fairing Sep. All right. Spare Delta V is growing, so we could have gone, maybe we could even have done 160, but I'm not pushing my luck. Loving that the AJ-1042 is not a dumpster fire like the AJ-1037.
What's its reliability at now?
Oh, this is just ignition reliability. Its MTBF is 71 minutes, which is pretty decent, given that its burn time is 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes, but yeah. Oh, I just did a very dumb thing. Heh. Very dumb thing is I forgot that I have to keep the avionics with me. Except I don't actually, because I have a solid, thank goodness, I don't actually have to keep the avionics with me. I just need to orient to the node, spin up, and decouple.
Is your comp set or Lunar shot?
This is Lunar.
Okay. Isn't that standard for Lunar then?
Isn't it what?
Isn't that the standard caveman style for Lunar?
Right, but the issue is I have limited battery life here. I don't have solar panels on it. So every joule that the upper stage avionics uses up is a joule that I will not have for lunar transit. If I have to warp around the Earth, that's bad news. All right. I am frankly doubtful. 3166. It will probably actually be something like 3168 or even 3170. Let's go for 3170. So we have to fly within 5,000 kilometers. Oops, 100 seconds is too many seconds. Trying to set up a free return. Okay, so we come out, we go here. That is a very high periapsis. And patch conic bug. Oops. All right, that's gradually tightening up. I think that that's probably correct. But man, I wish I knew for sure. Admiral Fisher, yeah, I started a bunch of these mods, and I'm still actively involved in development. And Maximal, who's joining me on voice, was KSP's lead designer for a considerable amount of time. So, like you get it from both barrels tonight.
Yeah, though, as usual, it's past 3 a.m. and I've gotten pretty quiet. But yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask.
Sorry, you got it from both barrels this morning.
I wonder how your this lunar flyby is going to work out with your engine having variable delta V.
Poorly. The answer to that question is poorly. That's why basically I'm guesstimating what it's going to be, and it's probably actually going to be a little more than that. It's probably going to be something like that. We'll see. I have. That's really just. It could be 10 meters per second more than that, and I don't really know for sure. So Max was KSP1. When I worked on KSP itself, I was KSP1, and I've been not working on KSP for like 4+ years at this point, so I certainly don't have any insight on KSP2. I think like some of the stuff they've been showing off is pretty awesome. I'm excited. I would look forward to see it, but like I'm super focused on KSP1 right now.
And anything I'd share would get me sued, so I'm not going to say anything.
We would not want that to happen. That would be very bad.
No.
No, being sued is no fun.
Nope.
What is going on here? Why can I not get an encounter at all? All right, so it claims that we're there, the moon is there, which means we want to be earlier in time. Huh? Okay, something's... That's super weird.
Intercept's broken.
Yeah, intercept's broken. It was broken, but less broken with less delta V. But now it's super busted. So we're here and the moon is here, which means, yeah, I guess we want to move back even further. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's claiming. Target position at closest approach, our closest approach, so yeah, I think we need to. It's just weird that it's going to be real close to the actual moon. Okay, something is super, like, those indicators are wrong. If that's what, because
No, you want to move it forward in time, don't you? Given where the geometry here.
yeah, that makes much more sense. I'm super rusty about these. Yeah, that's what's going on. Okay.
Not sure why you're losing the indicators constantly, but should
Yeah,
be
I
getting an
wish I
intercept
knew too.
around now.
Yep, that would be my guess as well.
That's very odd.
So, so the fix to this bug is to install Principia, clearly. Yeah, so it claims that target position at closest approach is over there. Oh, I know what I can maybe do. Oh, except you can't do it from here. There's the always show closest approach indicators, and I wonder if that being on is what's screwing this up. If that's overriding the patch conics somehow.
I think Jamie did some work on this in 1.12,
Yeah,
so hopefully it'll get better.
that would be my hope. Oh man, now I'm not getting. Oh, there they are again. All right, let's go forward again. Man, I just kind of got to do this by guess. Oh, suddenly we have a thing. Um, and it's gone again. Yes, so I have a hunch I know what's going on. And my hunch is that, see, it's showing the target position at closest approach. And I wonder if that's overriding the patch conics implementation. So I'm going to quick save, and then I'm going to quit to the main menu. Yes, I'm aware. And I'm going to turn that feature off, and then we're going to go back in and see if that makes a difference. Am I making up this setting?
Does sound familiar.
Yeah, I know it exists. Where did I see it? Show vessel labels. Center, contract deadline, temperature. Advanced tweakables is on. Oh, it's under graphics probably. Because we put, yes. Yeah, we chuck, because that's where we put the orbit line, so that's where we chuck the rest of the stuff. That's right. Yeah, Admiral Fisher, basically you, just as your best bet in RP-1 is to design rockets that look like real rockets, your best bet is to design planes that look like real planes. Because generally, but the caveat on that, there's two caveats. One is that it is very easy to design a plane that is way heavier than you think it is. A rocket plane, like a jet plane, that's a little harder. But yes. And the other is that never design an aircraft in KSP that looks like a fighter jet that was built in the last 40 years. And the reason for that is because almost all of those planes were statically unstable and fly only because of fly-by-wire computer controls. So if you want to design something that looks like a fighter jet, design it based on something from the 50s or 60s, because those planes were all flown manually and therefore like actually needed to be stable. All right, let's see if this is any better.
Also keep in mind that you'll end up being more tail heavy than most jets that you've seen, so your wings end up being a little bit further back.
Yep. Yeah, because most jets, the engine is actually mid and there's a bunch of tailpipe. Whereas for us, like you can do that, but you have to mess around with proc fairings to do it. Nope, that was not the problem. Dang. It may be that that closest pressure target only applies to vessels and not to celestial bodies. All right, this is bad. This is bad news. I guess I'm just gonna save scum. See what we get. Oh, I also don't have comms. It's not great. 16 minutes. What are we over in 16 minutes? Where is the maneuver node? The maneuver node is... Okay, so like we'll have comms by then. That's fine. Let's get over to Africa.
You can build a replica of whatever you want as long as you know where to put the COM to make it stable.
Yeah. Well, I thought we were going to have signal. That's pretty weird. That is interesting. Could have sworn we were going to have signal. But apparently not. That sucks. Oh, also, I desperately need to remember to extend that antenna, because if I don't, we will brick ourselves. Oh, no, it's not remote tech. We won't totally brick ourselves. Not everything is as harsh as remote tech.
Yeah.
Hey, sweet. Just in time. We have comms now. That's enough spin stabilization for you. Oh, shoot. My staging is wrong. The retros didn't fire. So 10 seconds before the node will fire. And see what kind of trajectory we get. Probably a bad one. And then I'll save scum and we'll try again. All right, so I should have gone at about 13 seconds before node. Yeah, 13 seconds. Because of the thrust curve. Apparently we created a lunar impactor. I will take it.
Yeah,
Man,
that's some pretty awesome guesstimation.
yes. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm 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 happy with that. I'm slightly sad, honestly, because I debated taking the lunar impactor contract, and I'm like, nah, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that unguided. Totally should have taken the lunar impactor contract. Hilarious.
That is a contract that seems like you should be able to just take it retroactively.
Uh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, honestly, at this point, there's a lot of those contracts where it requires you to launch a new vessel where I'm not sure it actually makes sense to require you to launch a new vessel. Like, I think in some ways that was copy pasta. Like, in some ways it makes sense. Like, we definitely don't want you to, for example, uh, so we don't want you to send an orbiter to Venus and then create an orbiter at Venus contract and just insta complete it.
Yeah, obviously.
But there are a lot of other cases where it's probably fine if we remove that requirement. The danger of the one case where it would be bad to remove that requirement is if you for some reason were doing lunar. So here's an example. It's technically possible for you to do lunar orbit before lunar impact. It is therefore possible for you to have your orbiter hanging around the moon for a while, then take the lunar impact contract and send it into the moon. I'm honestly not that fussed by that, because if you put off getting the lunar impactor money until that point, and you're willing to pack enough extra delta V to turn that orbiter into an impactor, like whatever. Or if you're playing in Principia, the moon will do that for you. Uh, but yeah, if you're willing to forego the early easy money, it's probably fine.
Yeah, there should be an energy requirement rather than just a mass requirement for the impact.
There is.
Then it would be
You
fine.
have to positive VC.
No, sorry, impact energy.
Oh. I mean, effectively there is because of the mass requirement, but I guess in practice, you could land.
Yeah, I mean, you could land, but also it would be different for an impactor that you just deorbit versus an impactor that you sent from
Oh, I see
Earth.
what you mean. Yes. Although honestly, most of the historic impactors were supposed to land at only 100 meters per second or so. So I'd be leery actually putting that requirement in. At least the Rangers, like the Rangers had retros that just didn't work most of the time.
Yeah, but these impactors that we're sending are supposed to be deliberate impactors for science, not fake. Oh yeah, we got some science from this thing that we didn't actually want it to impact.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to save. I'm going to hope that we get. So, no, Mr. Bond, you're asking, will the flyby actually complete? It will, as long as you transmit science from under 5,000 kilometers, which I'm pretty sure we can manage. Assuming I'm not wrong about my electric charge. But man, that was impressively lucky. I mean, I will say, like, a little of it was like guesstimating based off the over under and the rate of change in periselene and all this stuff. But like a lot between the luck of figuring out when to time the thing and also the luck of uh, how much delta V was actually being produced and the fact that we had the node 3 seconds early effectively because 3 seconds late, um, and presumably some steering losses from the spin, like so
Yeah,
much
that seems
so
like
much
a
going
one
on
on a
there.
hundred shot.
Yeah. I mean, effectively, it's like it's director firing. I was getting a straddle, which means eventually, if I narrow the straddle down enough, I'll get a hit.
Yeah, but usually directors just don't hit the first time. That's still considered very lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is the golden BB. We got that record. We should have gotten altitude records. I'm surprised. I guess the altitude records stop at like 2,000 kilometers, which we've already done. So. All right. Right now we're at 75 days of electricity, so that's fine. Um, did we already transmit? Oh yes, it already gave us 24 science. So yes, we did already transmit. Hello, Moon. We're punching your face. Yeah, we were also definitely helped by PVG nailing the relative inclination. That definitely increased the odds of impact a good bit.
Yeah, I expected it to hit the SOI, but not that well.
Yeah. So this career just became like thus far. I feel like people could basically follow along from home. Uh, this mission, yeah, this is hitting the jackpot. Like at most you might be delayed. I mean, even if you watching from home are delayed 3 or 4 launches of this, it's not going to break the bank. Like I've been trying to play this career with a reasonable amount of reserve cash, except in rare instances.
Well, certainly they should be doing fine if they're not playing on hard too.
Oh yeah, no. If you're playing on moderate, you'll be swimming in cash and science. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't think you even like just skim hit the moon. You're like banging into it dead center, aren't you?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we threw a 52 kilogram dart at the moon. All right, we've entered the lunar sphere of influence. Yeah, looks like our angle is about 45 degrees. So yeah, that's pretty solid. All right. Getting some science. Let's transmit the stuff that we can transmit, and then we'll transmit down the mass spectrometry. $22. It's only going to be a few hours until we hit the moon, so I packed a little too much electric charge. We probably could have increased our bandwidth a little bit, maybe. All right, let's get the low-hanging fruit. Okay. So we already did the science, so now all we have to do is fly by the moon. Pretty great. And yeah, we'll just keep transmitting science until we go poof. All right. Want to see if I can see the moon. There's the big old moon. In we come. Super happy with this. All right. Let's warp it up a little bit more. Yeah, we've now uh, So here's, oh boy, we're coming in fast. All right, we completed the contract. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn those off, and it will only be telemetry analysis, which has the least amount of data and runs the fastest. And my hope is that we'll actually maybe get a little bit of that from space low.
You should get a tiny bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll
30
obviously get a
seconds
little bit of data, but will we get any science from it? That's more the question. Faster and faster and faster. Right smack dab in the middle of the ocean of storms.
It'll be in moon low for what, like less than 10 seconds?
Yeah, probably. So we'll get back 1 byte of data.
Can't even spell wee.
Yeah. So 2.3 kilometers per second, 150 kilometers. No, it'll be more like 2.5. But even 2.5, that's still like 30 seconds under 150? Oh, well, it depends on well, good thing we're going into the ocean of storms, because um, at least the land there is fairly low compared to, I mean, it's not super low. We're losing about 10 kilometers at the moment. But it's better than other areas.
Yeah, you'll get like a minute.
Yeah, probably about a minute, maybe less. No, it'll be, yeah, I think pretty much bang on a minute.
Yep.
And because we're actually fairly close to the center, the center of the near side, we won't lose comms at the edge if we just had a grazing impact. Here we go. Come on, little probe, transmit as fast as you can.
Makes effort to set up a deliberate approach that's that vertical.
Yes. Contact light. Cool. Cool. Okay, well, I'm clearly building a pad now. What pad should it be? Should I use one of the Atlas pads or one of the Titan pads? I guess I'll use Launch Complex 14, where Mercury Atlas launched from, because that's where we'll launch our initial crewed capsule.
That idea of going with very narrow pad limits get any more traction, or?
It does. It actually takes sitting down and spending a good while coding it. So.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you want to do it?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. No, my to-do list is I have to fix how Real Fuels handles pressurant. Well, not fix, but like totally rewrite.
I wasn't trying to push you. I just was wondering.
No, like that's
on the drawing board.
basically that is my number one non-immediate priority.
Cool.
Because like it will make a huge difference. It is as safe braking as it is possible to be.
Yep.
And it is as like literally rewriting chunks of KCT as it is possible to be. It also the fundamental problem that we have not solved is, what do you do about planes?
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the design question that's outstanding. Everything else I think we've got answers for, but that one is tough, because like it's awesome that there's a unified build list right now, and that's like how would we get around that? That was a lot of science. Got 3 upgrade points from that.
I mean, do planes become too good? Is that the concern, if you don't have to build a launch pad for them?
No, the concern is what determines how quickly you build planes.
Right. Sorry.
I mean, like I think that's a secondary concern of like, how do you handle the fact that, and I think the answer to that probably is that you actually require air launches to cost money, like the upgrades, rather than being free. And that's effectively a pad cost. But the real question is like, what determines your plane build rate?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you can set up a pseudo launch pad that is just the hangar, whatever, and call it your.
You could. That is.
Your plane launch
you
pad.
absolutely could do that, but the downside is, why would a player do that? The advantage right now is you are not wasting build points when you build planes. If you change it to, you actively have to spend KCT upgrade points, or whatever currency we have, to build planes that you cannot then reuse on rockets, like, then it's dicey.
I'm still in the world where you get to move your engineers around.
Even if you get to move your engineers around, like, that doesn't, Like there's got to be some cost to the infrastructure, right? Because if you can move him
Yeah,
around
yeah.
freely, then there's not much point.
Yeah, but in infrastructure cost, not only does it kind of make sense that, like you need bigger hangars and like essentially what the SPH used to do. I guess you could just say that the hangar is free and it's really just the SPH upgrades that are controlling what kind of plane you can build. So if you had like a plane launch pad that is essentially infinite size and
Yep.
didn't have any other requirements.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that will have somewhat perverse impacts on gameplay.
Yeah, it might over incentivize people to build horizontally launched rockets.
I mean that, or um, depending on the balance between floating and fixed build rates, it may under incentivize planes. Man, I gotta I feel like my build rate is slow, but I also feel like you want to be 3-2 right now, and I'm not 3-2. Like we did just get a big chunk of science, so I think the fact that we're almost done with our research. So yeah, I'll blow that on R&D. But like the fact that it's taking almost 100 days to build these things is just, that's not okay.
Yeah, that's pretty long.
Yeah, I'm crunching through tech pretty well. This is super compelling to try to roll the dice.
If you get Snake Eyes again.
I mean, we got boxcars again. If we get Snake Eyes again, like my entire rocket will explode.
Sure. I mean, it depends which RPG system. Low
Yes.
could be good.
Yeah. No, I will, anything to do with 2d6, I will immediately go to BattleTech.
Fair.
Yes, your UAC 5 jammed. or the arming circuits failed because you can't unjam it. Rack 5 you can unjam. Um, okay, so I guess we do a ComSat contract. Because I don't really want to build my X-15 until after. Don't want to switch the order, I don't think. Do I want to? What do I want to do? Let's see. You are almost done with proficiency training. All right, let me at least see what happens to the Delta V if I change this thing around. Okay. So, variant, recolored, trippy. Super trippy. Recolor. That will do. Put the landing gear on. Let's see. Is that... I think I want about that height, probably. Seems fine. Oh, except I bet the wings are wrong still. Yep. All right, so I got to fix the wings on that. 2592. 2938. Yeah, so switching the cockpit made a huge difference in terms of our delta V. So what I think that means is probably that we need to stretch it some.
What was the delta V difference?
2938 to 2592.
Oh yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, and we were basically at the performance limit of the other thing anyway. So we need more delta V, not less.
Mm-hmm. But if you switch to the other XLRs, you'll get that back. I mean, they're higher thrust, same burn time, so you can just stretch the tanks, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's just like we're already at 6.5 minutes. Like we're already overburning a little bit anyway.
No, I mean, it's keep the same burn time, but
yes.
The other ones are higher thrust.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. No, yeah. My point is just like that we some of this is to do with the mass ratio we're running. I don't know. Also, shoot, there's going to be a color difference, isn't there? It's like I have to manually futz with the color to get it to match, because for some reason the mask is different between everything else in this cockpit.
No, I'm just saying the mass ratio goes back closer to what it was before when you switch over to the higher thrust version.
Yeah, and we have, with the new air launch node, we should be fine. I'm really skeptical that the specific impulse is the same there. That's this is my skeptical face.
Yeah, at least the sea level specific impulse should change.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my hypothesis was like if they literally only changed the flow rate, that would still at least slightly change the chamber pressure, which would affect sea level specific impulse.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look and see if that pull request has a diff XLR11. I'm okay. That seems to be actually weirder. I'm pressing X to doubt this one as well. Yeah, that's okay. All right, so let me also check the reliability numbers. Oops, XLR11. I could get the XLR25. That would make a difference. Reliability. Let's see. Okay, they're effectively identical. So yeah, might as well go for the one that is strictly an upgrade. So this XLR25. That's pretty high max thrust. Interestingly, it has the same specific impulse as the XLR11. That doesn't seem right. That seems like copy pasta. Yeah, something's fishy there. I really doubt that's actually all correct. So yeah, we'll purchase that one. That's pretty high thrust. Oh, apparently we have to build the whole darn thing from scratch because I replaced the cockpit and I replaced the jet. So, I mean, I guess we might as well build a new plane at this point. Like, I can reuse a lot of this, but like in particular, I probably want to have two engines.
Well, XLR 25s or XLR 11s?
No, like this, like I guess I could have a single XLR 25 instead of two XLR 11s, but it's not like that's actually the expensive part of the whole shebang. because this thing has half again the thrust, so I could have only one of it. It's the same mass as the XLR-11. Yeah, I really think a lot of those stats are bonkers. I'm skeptical that that's what's actually going on. Yeah, so I think I'll probably use 2 XLR-11s. Because I don't think that I don't think one alone is going to do it here. I mean, we can find out. Like, let's stretch this. Yeah, so we'll have a full 6 minutes on here. Wait, what the heck? Why am I not able to? Okay, that fixed that decal. I wonder. Yeah, if I actually scale that down slightly. Yeah, we'll just do that instead. Or that. All right, let's check center of mass and how it changes.
Get the delta V back.
Yeah, I gained like 200 something meters per second, which is not as much as I would hope. So that's interesting. This cockpit is super heavy. Didn't really expect that. Huh. I have a configure suit life support thing, but I'm not seeing that actually have popped up any windows, so I don't know. Configure crew science, that one is popping up. All right, I guess if that's where our center of mass is hanging out, then sure, let's have the wings pretty far forward then.
Weird looking plane now.
Yes. Like this is what I expect, but it's just like, again, if I empty the tank, that's what we get in terms of center of mass. Which is not that nuts, because that's Like this cockpit is 800 kilograms, whereas this one's only 350. But
350 seems extraordinarily light for, I know, even for the X1 cockpit.
yep, yeah, I think that makes sense. Probably is a little light. Yeah, I think I gotta. Guess I'd better include 2 rocket engines here. Yeah, I don't quite understand. Like, is the rest of this thing really super light? I mean, it was 11. Oh, right. That's the other thing I should do.
Shoot tanks.
Yeah, forgot about that part. Yeah, I really don't quite understand why why all of this is so screwy.
Which, your center of mass moving around, or?
Yeah, being that far forward. Because like we're 2.4 tons wet, dry. It's not like we're super light.
That's true, but I mean, you've got a 150-ton rocket engine on one end and an 150 kilo rocket engine on one end and an 800 kilo cockpit on the other. And 100 kilograms of landing gear.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess the landing gear is pretty far forward, so that makes some difference. Wouldn't think it would make that much difference, but it makes some difference.
Well, no, I mean just on the balance, like you've got an extra 750 kilos on the front.
Yes,
out of your
compared to the back. Yes.
2.4 tons, yeah.
And also,
Like,
right now,
right.
like that's just in terms of distance. Like that's kind of the center of the plane. That's not that far off from the center of the plane. This is not the center of the plane. This is back a ways, and that's because it's this delta. It's this high sweep delta, rather than like something with a lower sweep.
Plus, you actually have a lot of tailplane compared to the size of your delta.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's one thing to do is make it look even more MiG-21 like. Except I kind of want that area, given that we're going to be at high altitude. I mean, I could give it X-15 style wings of like low aspect, but not terribly swept. Might have to actually to make this work, or just accept that I have to put these wings pretty far, like stupidly far forward.
I think you just accept that the wings have to go forward.
Yeah. Just it looks so unbalanced. All right, what does this look like? Dry. Okay, that shifts the center of mass stupidly far forward. Yeah, I think I just have to build this from scratch. I can't really repurpose this design.
Yeah.
That's sad. Well, given that I have to like some scratch anyway, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, the killer is just that it will take a long time to build. I'm honestly sort of tempted to just use the plane from that X-15 like plane from my last career, which I really liked, and just make it pretty.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, like that thing was pretty good.
Yeah, I reuse planes all the time. They take a long time to build.
Yeah. Let's see if I'm trying to remember which Orca was which. Let's try this one. That was on the 18th of May. Okay. Oh, I remember you. Wrong plane. That's my engine tester. So let's try the 2CB. Okay. And let's also... Come on. Come on. Okay. There we go.
What were you doing there?
So when you change the length of a proc part, it offsets parts attached to it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If it offsets the root part, it moves the whole vessel.
Mm-hmm.
The root part was in the center of the screen. I wanted the center of the craft to be in the center of the screen. So it's a trick I picked up a long, long time ago. Is you just attach...
Why not just pick the proc part and use the move gizmo to move it where you want it to move?
Yeah, I guess that's probably functionally equivalent now. I don't want to pick the proc part. I want to pick the root part.
I mean, the root. You pick
Yeah.
the root part with the move gizmo, and then you just move the.
Yeah, that's probably functionally equivalent. Um, and these are on the wrong engine config. Oh, it apparently auto-bought that. Oh well.
Yeah, it's a lot less goofy than what you're doing.
Yes. You're not wrong. Okay, and this thing has. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, because it's right. Well, that's interesting. That's not actually more delta V. That's super interesting. That's about as much delta V as I had in the other plane.
Also, you know about shift left, click right. You can just drag the craft around that way.
Yeah, but if you drag the craft around rather than being constrained to a single axis, then you lose.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, then you're
Okay.
moving on different axes. Like that's why I'm guaranteed, like either the offset thing or putting a proc part and changing length, basically guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, right. Yeah, this was done with Venn stock revamp, and now I'm using restock. So, looks like the RCS is kind of slightly busted.
Ones on the wing don't look too bad, I guess, but yeah, it's pretty busted.
So that's fine, but the yaw RCS is super busted. It's like it's inverted somehow.
That's probably just offset so that you can't see the nozzle, just see the back. That's exactly what's happened, yeah.
Yep.
Are you currently underfueled, or was it only designed with 3 minutes, 50, whatever? I can't really read that too well.
3 minutes, 52 seconds. I'm pretty sure that it's not actually underfueled. Because, like, there ain't... Oh, maybe here? Oh, yes, it is slightly underfueled. Okay, so it did have a little more... It had another 100 meters per second.
Also, the utilization on that was lower.
Yes.
Than it needed to be.
Yep, it definitely was. But I think that my air launch limit is 15 tons.
Okay, makes sense.
I'm not super sure. I gotta check what my actual air launch limit is. Okay, so that's a That's a screwy leading edge. That's better. I really should have grabbed the Kerbal Foundries and had better gear, but I'll stick with this landing gear. Yeah, so yeah, so this is actually way less prone to tail strikes than the other plane. Because the other plane had its tail planes down here. This, it still is it's blanking these a little bit in a bad way at some levels of angle of attack of like about 30 degrees. Visually, it looks like, but it's okay otherwise. Wait, does this thing literally not have flaps? No, it has flaps. So where's my roll control? Oh, I have flaperons. That's what's going on here. And I think I mixed in a little. No, I did not. All right, let me mix in a little roll because I don't trust my flaperons to actually give me good roll control with the flaps down. All right, so now I need to grab this so I can get all the decals from it. And also get the recoloring. Very important. The most important part of all of this.
I think I need to sleep. This sounds like a couple hours to work.
No, this is going to probably be 10-15 minutes, but yeah, I'm probably going to sleep after that too, so you're not going to miss much.
All right. Talk to you later.
Sounds good. Have a good one. Well, that's super weird. Why are there fewer options for this wing than for the other wing? Yeah, it's just not showing up. That's weird. See what happens if I do this. Open recoloring. Yeah, so that's all there. So there's something busted with the... Alright. Something busted with that part module, so... Let me load it again and see if that helps. Nope. Text edit. Let's find the part module. Okay, let's fix that. Let's merge in the other plane. Store pattern. Now we're fixed. Cool. Load pattern, load pattern, load pattern. Ah! Got to do it again. Oh, this is going to annoy me because I'm going to have to remake the NACA stripe again. Okay, then fairing sides. Okay. And then oh yeah, gotta close that first. Configure crew science. What the heck? Oh, I know what's wrong. Yeah, that's what's wrong. Have to delete this and remake it. Okay. Store pattern. There we go. And then lastly, the all right, speed brakes. Oops, did I? No, that's the proc wing. There's the control surface. the thickness on that is a little worrying. There. Yep. Wrong one. Right one. Store pattern, load pattern. Okay. That's better. Meanwhile, let's get crew science. High altitude flight. Oh, yuck. I did the tail wrong. Oh, no, it's just an artifact of the light. Okay. Let's also engine. Okay. Yep. It's configured that way. It's fine. So now let's get all of our decals ported over. Okay. So that's the no step. Then this is rescue. And I think that's actually probably supposed to be, should be smaller, yeah. Okay, what other decals did we have? We had the roundel. We had navy. That look about correct. That's probably better. Okay, and the question is, do I... Oh, I forgot to... Oh, geez, I forgot to do that. And the question is, do I want to bother? I guess I will. Yeah, this will be in the airflow as well, so let's grab it. Okay. All right, and then the last bit is, do I really want to try to make that stripe again? Like, it was definitely a bunch of work. So I think I will maybe leave this as it is. I love, like, the stripe made it look so cool, but the stripe is a huge amount of work. Okay, let's align that. Let's fix that. Oh, there's still a gap. All right. Okay, that should work. Except this needs to be a little wider at the base. Okay, that'll work. I think that should do it. Okay, and then lastly, there's the Buno. Okay. All right, that will do. Of course, we'll have to tool it, but I think this is fine. How long will it take to build? 136 days. That's an awful long time. All right, let's look at exactly what level of air launch we have. $25 tons, so we're totally fine. Okay, I'm gonna do that X-15 style. I should get a flag that's like Douglas or Grumman or something. And it's really tempting to spend the time to make the stripe. But I'm resisting the urge. Okay. Yeah, I really want to put that stripe right here. But it's so much work to do the stripe. flaps, speed brakes, check that out. Okay, and so far so good. Air launch. Here we go. Oh, that landing gear needs to move up a little bit. Yeah, what I don't like is that the texture's an unlimited mask, but is different between these two parts, and I don't know why. Okay, let's start our run. Crud. Why are we not getting RCS actuation? That's pretty weird. Oh, I know why. Because I don't have any helium. That's what's going on. Okay, and then I need to right, because I don't have the diameter tooled. Crud. So now here's what I need to do. Where's RCS build aid? Engines. All right, let's look at what we're like dry. Okay, that looks correct. So let's look at the pitch moment wet now. All right, now there's definitely a bit of a pitch up moment when we're wet. Could be worse. I'll take it. And I'll leave the parachute on this because you never know. the heck? Oh, I see. I guess I have to air launch before I retract the gear. Yeah, there we are. So this thing does not have area ruling or anything. It just makes it through Mach wave drag through thrust alone. And away we go. Cool. RCS definitely working. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why are we pitching so... What's going on here? That's super weird. There's something deeply fishy. Like, I thought we were... So that's down to there. That's down to there. That's down to there. All right, so there's something to do with the propellant balancing. But I will deal with it tomorrow because I'm getting super tired. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you later. Night.